If you'll stand with me.
Before I pray, I'd just like to thank Rodney for inviting me over and realize that I'm no longer a Vienna resident, but I am a neighbor and a friend. In this time of such great political change, also I'm going to take this opportunity to thank each of you for being a public servant, and thank all those here who are active citizens to be here. I want to start with a statement that says the time is always right to do the right thing. And I want to read you a few scriptures, and I'll give you a short primer. The first scriptures are found in Revelations. And after this I looked, and there before me was a great multitude that no one could count, from every nation, tribe, people, language, and standing before the throne before the Lamb. And they were wearing white robes and were holding palm branches, and they cried out in a loud voice, "Salvation belongs to our God, who sits on the throne." In Isaiah 5:20 it says, "Woe to those who call evil good, good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet." Let us pray. Heavenly Father, God, you are sovereign. You hold all power in your hand. You are a holy and righteous God. We thank you for our country. We thank you for this gathering of citizens. We pray that you'll do what is right for each other and for our communities. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Councilwoman, would you lead us tonight in the prayer?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. I call to order this special session of the Vienna City Council. Having taken roll, for the record, all members of council are present, excluding Jim Leach. Yes, I was trying to think, who was it that called me? Jim Leach is unavailable this evening. Before we get into our the report of the minutes from 13 February 25 have been circulated and posted. Are there any other additions to the minutes?
Yeah, in the council comments, just would like to add from the last meeting, the response I had from during council comments.
Just as a point of procedure, to amend the minutes or adopt the amendments the way with a change, you need to move, there needs to be a motion and a second to amend the minutes that have been circulated, and then I guess we'll resubmit them when they've been corrected at the next meeting.
So moved.
Second.
So moved in second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Passes unanimously.
And then we'll just ask that with the amended minutes be submitted at the next regular council meeting. That'd be next Thursday. Next Thursday.
So it'll be 2 minutes.
Yes.
Two sets of minutes.
Did I say 2 minutes?
You said 2 minutes. And 33 seconds.
Okay.
Anything else? We're good? We will go to our public forum. We have one individual signed up on that, and that is Mr. Henry Sasson.
Henry Sasson, 1307 Greenmont Hills Drive here in Vienna. Why am I here at the podium today and tomorrow is the West Virginia High School State Championships at Morgantown at Milan Park. You got the best swimmers across the state of West Virginia for the boys and girls. This is their chance to shine. Parkersburg South has 8 girls, 7 boys, and PHS has sent 12 boys and 7 girls that qualified with the times in Region 1. So if you get a chance tomorrow,
will be to amend Vienna Municipal Code Article 1. .03. Any other information need to be addressed on that?
Can I bring something up, or should I wait until next time?
It's just on the agenda for information purposes,
Okay,
to
so
remind
wait.
folks that we'll deal with the amendments at the next regular council meeting.
Thank you.
All good on that? Moving on to new business, it is a pleasure to have all of our outside agencies with us this evening. They are going to come and they are going to share a little bit about their programming and what they offer in the way of services to our community.
Well, good evening, everybody. I'm excited to be here today. I am Jill Parsons, the President and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce of the Mid-Ohio Valley, and what I want to share with you today is the membership program. So in fiscal year 2015-2016, the city of Vienna started a program where they would pay the first year membership into the Chamber of Commerce for new businesses in the city of Vienna. The goal was to support a new business with the programming that we offer at the Chamber of Commerce to kind of set those businesses up for success. And they are considered full members of the Chamber as part of this program, and they are encouraged to take advantage of all the benefits and the programming that we have to offer. So, to qualify for the Vienna membership program, one of 3 parameters had to be must exist. It must be either a brand new business, locally owned business opening in Vienna. It had to be an existing locally owned business that relocated to Vienna city limits. Or it could be an existing business in Vienna with a change in local ownership or a change in location within the city of Vienna. And so when the business files their paperwork with for their Vienna business license, our membership specialist connects them and we sign them up for the Vienna membership program. And once they are active members, then our Chamber Champions Committee, our ambassadors, welcome them to the Chamber as a new member with a formal visit and oftentimes a ribbon cutting activity. And so if there is one aspect of our membership and our programming that is most beneficial to a new business, it is the ribbon cutting ceremony. The entire membership of the Chamber is invited to the ribbon cuttings and they are always well attended. And one aspect that we added during COVID and that we continue today is that we publicize those ribbon cutting events on Facebook. We go live and promote them so that even if somebody can't be there that day, they can feel, they can watch along, or the family and the business owner can share it with their friends. So since October 2015, when the program started, we have had 85 businesses participate in the Vienna membership program. And I'm proud to share that 61 of those businesses are still in operation today, so that's 72%. 57 of them are still located in Vienna, 4 are located elsewhere. So for the last 8 years of the program, we have received a $3,000 allocation from the city of Vienna, which funds the first year dues for about 8 businesses. This year we are requesting $5,000, which would again support 8 new businesses for their first year dues to the Chamber of Commerce, but I would like to launch what I'm calling a Vienna Business Council. would be open to all businesses in Vienna for a quarterly gathering, whether it's virtual or in person, with the elected officials, with the mayor, with the city leadership, just to come together to share best practices, issues, concerns, celebrations, that type of thing. And so that would be something that I would like to add to the programming through this event. So we are honored to be good stewards of the money that you have given to us. We are proud of these members that we have supported through the program, and we hope that you will continue to support it. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Does anyone have any questions for?
On the packet that was put together, it shows 2025, 2026 requested 3, not 5, that needs fixed.
Correct, I made the note. I think that's all we have.
Okay, thank you very much.
You'll notice on your list or on the agenda that Lindsay Pearsall from Wood County Development Authority was originally scheduled to be here. The Wood County Development is not considered an outside agency because we actually have a contract with them, and she will be on the agenda for the next regular session, where she will provide an update and take any questions on the Wood County Development Authority's contract with us. Crisis Intervention Center. Emily Larkins.
Good evening. My name is Emily Larkins. I'm the Executive Director of the Family Crisis Intervention Center. The Family Crisis Intervention Center is a nonprofit organization that is a rape crisis center, a recognized rape crisis center, and a local domestic violence program. And so I'm here this evening, though, to talk about the Kids First program, which is a program that is under the direction of the Family Crisis Intervention Center. So the Kids First program is a part-time program located down on Market Street in Parkersburg, and we are a program that provides a neutral and child-friendly environment for children to have access to their parents without the parents having at our program, or we are helping conduct child exchanges and parent exchanges where they go out either for the evening, for the weekend, so they might even go out for a week at a time, depending on what the court orders. We do require a court order to be a participant in our program, and we offer, we have 2 paid positions that are at this program, the coordinator, which I'm acting as right now, and then a part-time nighttime advocate, which Natalie is with me this evening. And we also have a part-time Parkersburg police officer that do have their gun and their badge, but they are in their plain clothes. And we also do work with volunteers that help us during our hours of operation. We are open 3 nights a week, so Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sunday evenings, and we provide 9 hours of service during those actual 3 evenings a week. Then, of course, we're there at the center during the daytime, meeting with the program participants before they start their services. We charge nothing for our services. We have funding that we receive through the Supreme Court of Appeals, Department of Health and Human Services, and then also funding through you all, and then private donations. I don't usually throw out a lot of numbers, but to give an idea for the services that we've provided so far since July, I haven't done my February numbers yet. For child visits and exchanges, since July, we have provided 320 child visits and exchanges. We have also provided 356 hours of time spending with those parents and children coming through our program. We've had 15 new children and a total of 163 continuing children that participate in our program. I feel that this service is extremely valuable. Of course, we are encouraging safer conditions for these families to spend time with one another. The folks that we help that come through our program that are court ordered, it's not just domestic violence or sexual assault. We could be helping parents who are going through divorces, just a difficult situation. They might have not even known that they were a parent. There might be substance abuse issues, mental health issues that are impacting their time that they are allowed to, spend with their children. It's a joy to be at our program. We try to make it a positive environment. The kids love coming and spending not only time with their parents, but time with us too. A lot of times we can't even get them out the door in the evening time because they want to chill, they want to unwind, they want to do crafts, they love to play with the officers, the volunteers, and even the kids themselves intermingle a lot of times because they're there together. This year in April will be the 25th year since the inception of this program. We are, really looking to continue this program. We feel that it's an extreme value and need within our community.
I have one.
Sure.
What's the amount of time that you'll have the same child in this program?
Because we're a free program and we try to help as many as we can, we offer or allow a family to have one visit per week at a maximum of 2 hours. Sometimes judges order only 1 hour a week, so we have to follow that court order. And we allow the family to be with us for 1 year at a time. And at that 1 year mark or period, we encourage them to go back to the courts for the judges to reevaluate the situation. And if the judge decides at that time that they would like to see them continue within our service, then they're only in our program for about 15 minutes at a time for an exchange. We've had some children that have been with us since they were 6 weeks old and they're now 13 or 14. Parents just can't seem to get along, or there's reasons and so they continue, to come back. As far as visits, most families are there about a year, but we have some families right now that we've served 2 years or 3 years at a time. But we try to help as many people as possible. So that's why we kind of put that time limit on it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
And Amy, I'm correct in saying that Kelly Goodell is not here?
Correct. There is nobody else here from Wood County Senior Citizens, correct?
She's not here, but she sent a small note that we'll add to the record and I'll read. It just simply says, our nutrition department served 100 seniors with over 8,200 meals at a cost of a little over $61,000. 25 Vienna seniors used our transportation department and received approximately 400 trips to doctor's appointments, grocery shopping, and to the Center for Meals. They also provided 2,500 hours of in-home care to 5 seniors to ensure that they are able to remain at home in their community at a cost of approximately $45,000 worth of care. Thank you for your help in getting our information out there. Don't ask me any questions because I don't know.
That was just their effect on citizens of Vienna.
Yes.
Yes.
That wasn't their overall program. That's just what Vienna received in services. Next up, we have from the Humane Society of Parkersburg, Gary McIntyre.
Good evening. Thanks for the opportunity to be here this evening. One of the things I'll start off by saying, and you see it all the time if you're on our Facebook page, we're full. We stay full. You know,
That seems to be a common theme.
yeah, we move a few dogs out into foster, and then we're full again. But I'm glad to tell you that we do enjoy partnering with the City of Vienna. We partner with you to provide, in addition to sheltering and adoption services, we also provide humane officer services for you. In the year of 2024, we actually had 2,732 animals that came into the shelter, and of that number, 129 of those were from Vienna. So that's about 4.7% of our total intake came from Vienna. On our humane officer calls, had a bit of an anomaly last year. We had a total of 109 calls for the City of Vienna, and that's actually increased by about 45 calls. That's 8.4% of what we actually did as a whole in the year of 2024. And then in addition to that, you know, we actually offer services through our spot clinic, which is not part of our agreement, but certainly is open to the residents of Vienna. As we take a look at what we did there last year, we actually spayed and neutered 5,535 animals. About 60 of those were from the City of Vienna. And then we also have that came to that and took part of that. That was actually sponsored by Lou Thomas Subaru. We've done that the last 3 years in October, and it goes over really well. We usually see about 300 people, which turns out to be, or 300 animals, which turns out to be around 700 to 800 services that we provide. We have a list of vaccines they can choose from, and it costs them nothing other than the time that they spend waiting in line and going through the process. You know, last year was a very spectacular year for us. We ran into one of those situations at the end of October where we had to bring in 146 dogs from the same residents. And many of you in this room helped out with that, whether it was financially, whether it was providing meals for our staff and volunteers, whether it was supplies. We got so many supplies from the community that we turned around and shared those with a number of the humane societies, you know, to get, you know, it was food and it wasn't going to last as long as it was going to take us to use it. So, you know, we actually shared with them, and then we also did someone who needs assistance can come, and it doesn't matter if they have 1 animal or 10 animals. We'll give them enough food for those animals for a month, as long as they live in Wood County. 3 services that I just want to make sure you're aware of that we offer that are open to the City of Vienna residents as well. We have a program for children. It's not just a Vienna problem. It's not just a Wood County problem. It's a national problem. And we actually have funds that come into us that allow us to actually spay or neuter and provide a rabies shot to those animals, as well as we'll tip their ear. These are truly those cats that just hang around that somebody feeds but nobody owns. And you can set up appointments for them at the clinic. It costs nothing. You just have to take the time to catch them, bring them in, and then we ask you to hold them for 24 hours after surgery. And again, that's open for anyone that has a cat, you know, regardless, as long as they're coming from Wood County. We'll provide that service for them. Low-income individuals, we also have some funds that come through donations where we can provide spay and neuter services for them. And then, of course, we get a grant from the state of West Virginia that we also use to help pay for spay and neuter services. So again, anyone that is interested in those programs, we certainly want to try to spay and neuter as many animals as we can. And then that helps that problem where I say we're full. We won't be as full because we're trying to stop that overpopulation. Looking at the funds that we get from the City of Vienna, it's about 2.4% of our total budget. And again, you know, we've had this relationship for a number of years. It's worked out very well. And we just appreciate everyone in the community, everyone here in Vienna that helped us and that helps us repeatedly all the time. It's not just because we have 146 dogs. People all the time, you know, we put out a need and we get what we need. I appreciate everyone's help, and I'll answer any questions.
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
Maybe 2. first one, the number that we gave you, 31,132,
Yes.
is that by a formula since it's kind of an odd number? Or-
It's not. It's actually the way that it was equated to back, I think in 2016 or 17 when it first started, was based on what we had from the prior year. And it's just always about that same percentage that we see from Vienna. Usually 3 to 4% of our work comes from Vienna. Again, this year was a little bit of an anomaly with that 8.4. And then that's broken up broad over 12 months. So we actually get 1/12 of that each month. We invoice it and get paid then.
Right. Thank you, Gary.
You bet. Was that it?
Did you have a second question?
I'm chicken down. Well,
You can call
no
me.
pun intended. You know, a couple years ago, we started a chicken program. I just wonder if you are getting chickens in.
We do, actually. There are a number of people, technically there's an ordinance, like in Parkersburg, that says you can't have a chicken if you live in the city limits, but you'd be surprised the number of people that do. And we do get chickens, we get ducks, we get pigs, we get guinea pigs. You know, we get horses. We try to work with the person to not have to take a horse. You know, but we've done goats. But chickens come in quite frequently, and we usually have just a few people that are interested in adopting them out if we don't return them to the owner. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. North Star Child Advocacy, Greg Collins. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me here tonight. I appreciate it. My name's Greg Collins. I'm the Executive Director of North Star. I'm a retired police lieutenant from the Parkersburg Police Department. I've been at this job for almost 4 years next month. I haven't had the pleasure of speaking with most of you about North Star, but many of you were in the audience when I did last year. I recognize the faces for sure. But I've tried to provide you with as much information as possible, and I've also emailed you all a 20-minute video that will explain a lot about what we do and answer a lot of questions you may have. A Child Advocacy Center, or CAC, provides a safe, child-friendly facility where CPS, criminal justice, and child treatment professionals work together to investigate abuse, hold offenders accountable, and help children heal. The only children North Star interview are referrals from CPS, judges, prosecutors, or law enforcement. And the case must be in the advanced stage of the investigation. Most people don't realize we are not a walk-in facility, so this is the only place we get our children from. West Virginia has 21 CACs such as mine. During the 24 fiscal year, West Virginia CACs served 4,909 children, a nearly 8% increase over the past 5 years. A statistical fact, 1 in 10 West Virginia children are abused. And I would say that it's probably higher than that. North Star is the largest CAC in West Virginia, serving Wood, Wirt, Ritchie, Pleasants, and Calhoun counties. North Star is the busiest CAC in the state, seeing over 600 children each year between 2020 and 2023. Last year, we saw 501 children, which was 103 less than the previous year, which I think had a lot to do with CPS restructuring around the state, as near as I can count. We still led the state in the number of interviews we did, even though we were down 104, or 103, I'm sorry. If you see the difference in the numbers in your package, the likely cause of confusion could be or would be West Virginia the West Virginia Child Advocacy Network uses fiscal year statistics. I like to use calendar year statistics for what we do. In the 23-24 fiscal year, we saw 570 children as opposed to 501 in the 2024 calendar year. Currently, there are 8 CACs in West Virginia that are partially funded by county commissions. We are not one of those. 4 CACs are funded by municipalities. North Star is now proudly one of those, thanks to the city of Vienna. Our staff consists of 5 forensic interviewers, also cross-trained as family advocates, and 2.5 administrative staff taking care of grants, budget, and the center itself, doing the most in the state with way less personnel than what is recommended for us. On July 1st of 24, we lost the Encova Once the Brick Street grant that had been utilized for the past 8 years, providing $50,000 per year. Encova is no longer providing that grant to anyone. We didn't lose it because of anything we did. They stopped awarding the grant. The projected federal VOCA grant cut in October of 25 is projected to be 74%. VOCA is 38% of North Star's budget. VOCA is the Victim of Crime Act that was not taxpayer funded, but rather criminal fines funded. State grants account for 23% of North Star's budget, and of course they're never a sure thing. We've worked much harder over the past 4 years to bring in our own money to help our own cause rather than just relying on other people. And because of that, 20% of our budget now is funded by donation and statewide training that we provide to other people. United Way is covering our entire medical program, which provides sexual assault examinations for children. We are one of the only CACs in the state of West Virginia that has an on-site medical facility. Sisters Health Foundation has been our biggest supporter amongst foundations, with foundations in general covering 14% of our budget. In the calendar year 2024, 77.2% of the children we saw from our 5-county service area were kids from Wood County. 77.2% from a 5-county area was from Wood County. 54% were from Parkersburg. 37.5% were from areas outside of any city limit in Wood County. And 7.8% were from Vienna, for a total of 30 kids. The National Children's Advocacy Center in Huntsville, Alabama stayed back in 2006, and I'm sorry, I don't know that there's any more current information available, but in 2006, a CAC investigation cost approximately $2,902 compared to $3,949 for a non-CAC investigation. If all the other Wood County governments, like the city of Vienna did, would provide us with the $500 for each child interviewed, we would ensure as a community that North Star will be here forever. Despite any upsets with the state and federal budgets like are happening now. These are our kids, not the state or federal government's kids. I believe that the city of Vienna, and I say this wholeheartedly and not providing any fluff, I wholeheartedly believe that the city of Vienna has set the bar for the rest of Wood County. I believe that because of the city of Vienna, we will soon see budget inclusion from the city of Parkersburg and the Wood County Commission because of what you did for us last year. In closing, it's not merely a feel-good nonprofit. Quite the opposite, really. It's a necessity. As a team with law enforcement for our children by helping law enforcement CPS workers for the next 100 years by finding this type of sustainable funding. tonight I humbly request to be included in your budget for the same, but I also recognize, and I don't expect it, I would appreciate anything that you can do to help us with our mission. Questions?
Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you for that service.
Hold on, did you have a question?
Tony has a question.
Yes, sir.
Just real quick, could you tell us how many employees you have and kind of talk about, what you see as far as, the employees, how they deal with the stuff that they have to see on a daily basis? Just real quick.
Father having sex with a biological son, a mom prostituting her children to pedophiles to support her drug habit, kids getting hung from the rafters and beaten, kids that accompany their parents, their mother, to a hotel room so she can turn. This stuff takes a tremendous toll on the 5 girls that are doing these interviews on a daily basis. And if you figure it's at a clip of 600 a year, they may struggle through an interview. We're not allowed to show any emotion. We're neutral and not biased. So they have to keep it all in and to themselves. They come into my office and cry often. They cry all the way home often. But I have to remind them the next child's on the way through the door any minute, and he or she deserves 100% of you. You can't be dwelling. Their mental health is by far and above, it's not close, my biggest job at the center. If I see them sliding, I have to try to separate them from the building, from the stuff that they're hearing every day. I've got to try to get them healthy. We do lots of different outings just to try to get them a breath. But they have to be a lot like a police officer in the sense that you have to have a dark spot. There are a lot of people come through my doors that want to work for us because their heart's so big. When you outline some of the things that we see daily, now remember, these are investigations. These aren't what's happening in the house. That's already been determined. We are now in the grips of the actual talking to the child, and they can't do the work because they can't compartmentalize that and they get emotional. So to do this work, these staff members are the heart and soul of North Star, period. And the turnover rate for a forensic interviewer is 18 months nationally. My job is retention and trying to keep these girls there and working, and their hearts are so big. We're a 24/7 facility. If it's 1 o'clock in the morning and law enforcement, Vienna PD calls us and needs us, we're on the move. You know, the nurse that does our work, being only one of a few, when you get the child in this child-friendly center and you get to treat them without them having to be in an ER or a police detective room or the ER base or the CPS basement, that's a big deal. And these girls make friends with these kids, and they think they'll never, you know, with what they just heard in this interview, with this hour and a half interview with this child, there's no way they could be put back in the home. Well, all only comes from the interview and the evil. It comes from the frustration with the system that's supposed to be there to protect the child. But our, you know, CPS often, they have rules and guidelines that they're following, and a lot of them are right. You know, they're right. I think our rules and guidelines are somewhat misplaced and a little bit antiquated, and we're not actually helping kids like we should. So it's a great question. I appreciate you asking about the staff, because they're the ones that are, and they have their own kids. You know, they have their own problems, so
Thank you very much.
they need to do that.
Absolutely.
So as an example, So for the folks that know, my day job is as an assistant prosecutor. I've been doing it for 20 years. It's just an example of the dedication of the forensic interviewers. And I haven't told Greg this yet either, but in addition to doing the interviews, these women oftentimes go above and beyond. And the most recent example is, I had a case with a 9-year-old who was abused. The meetings that I had to have with her and accompanied her we just did a viewing in court, just so she would see what a courtroom looked like. And I was particularly pleased. I was impressed. I'm always impressed with the women that do the interviews. And the most recent example, she went, in my opinion, above and beyond what is required of a forensic interviewer to bring comfort to a child that was involved in a system that can be scary, to talk about things that are scary, and to interact with people like me who can sometimes be scary. So, Greg, I'll tell you who that was after the meeting, but she did a fantastic job and I was very pleased.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Next up, from MOV Fellowship Home, Randy Blatt.
And then I'll put some over here. Can you hear me?
You pull the microphone
Okay.
down a little bit there.
Alrighty, is that better? Hi, I'm Brandy Blatt. I'm the ED of the Mid-Ohio Valley Fellowship Home, and I see some new faces. Congratulations. If you don't know who we are Sober Living in Parkersburg, and we've been around, it'll be 54 years this April. So what is Sober Living? So Sober Living is the transition point. If you go to drug rehab and you don't feel safe to go back home, and home is not a good environment, then you come and stay with a place like us. And that's what we do. We practice what it's like to live in the real world without drugs and alcohol. We are a women and children and men with children, and for those who don't have children, we serve all. We're the only certified home in the state that does men with children. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about this evening, is our men's home. And I normally come here and talk to you about our women and children's home. Our men's home is the first home that opened up for the fellowship home, and what you have in front of you is the flooring. So I don't think you got a picture. I'm sorry, Henry. I didn't have a debit card and just cash to pay for the pictures before I got here. So if you could look there, that is a picture of our flooring for our, I think Harry is where I dropped the it's a estimate. What you see there is a picture of our community floor for our community room. Our community room is where we serve the community. It is, there's been a lot of talk about children this evening. This is where if you get a visit with your child and you live with us at the fellowship home, this is the room that you come to. And this room is not in good standard right now, and we want it to be its best. But this is also where we hold trainings. This is where our men meet and have dinner. So it's a room that we really want to look its best. We are grant funded and through donations, and of course from the city of Vienna. So I had to really think long and hard about what I wanted to present tonight, and it is that room. It is the heart and soul of the fellowship home, and it desperately needs a little bit of love. I'd like to give a shout out to the Humane Society. Right before I left, I wasn't sure I was going to get here on time because there was an injured cat. They normally do not come out for injured cats, and I had a whole house full of women on the porch crying, and what do we do about this cat? And the Humane Society came out, so I'm really excited about it. It is a tragedy. Down. Fake plank hardwood. It's not hardwood, it's plank. This is such a well-used room.
flooring was put down just 4 years ago. So I will go cheaper. My husband says, Brandy, if you do it right the first time, it's got a 15-year warranty. We could, and that's why I chose that. I'll put a Band-Aid on some if it fixes it. However, this is a really loved room, and it is really the heart and soul of Fellowship Home. Okay, any more questions? Yeah.
Just from a practical standpoint, have you considered luxury vinyl plank flooring with the thick wear level, because it holds up forever? And you might get more bang for your buck with that. I don't know what the overall cost is anymore.
Yeah.
But it holds up extremely well.
It does. I have that in my home right now. I could get, 15, 20 years, and I could sand it down and redo it, So yes, I have thought about that, but it's such a grand home. It's an old Victorian home, and I just want to bring it to its best self. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
The Mid-Ohio Valley Health Department, Travis White.
Well, good evening. As he announced, and you'll have to bear with my voice here, I'm still getting over this stuff that's been terrorizing my house for the past week. My name's Travis White. I'm the new finance director with the health department. Normally, I believe they come up here and they talk about all the normal basic public health services that we provide throughout the year, every year. Some of the other things I wanted to mention also was we partner with the Vienna Police Department to provide Narcan training for the officers in the past. We do community health programs such as Step Up to a Healthy Life initiative. We also do mental health, substance abuse, and depression and anxiety trainings. A lot of different things that we're still doing. We also participate in different events throughout Vienna, such as the on-site. We provide flu and pneumonia vaccines out or shots during flu season. We also do a dental program through all the schools in Vienna, as well as our women, infants, and children's program. I don't have a lot of other things to go over with you folks today. One thing I did want to mention is we've had a great relationship with you guys for years. I'm brand new, less than 6 months on the job, so I'm still learning, getting a grip. But my understanding is through all the municipalities that we deal with, Vienna has been one of the most dependable and easiest to work with, and we greatly appreciate that. What else did I want to mention here? Oh, we also currently, just to throw this out there, we've got a group of folks that just took a trip down to the southern part of the state for the flood victims and took tetanus shots. So it's not just local. We help out and reach out as much as we possibly can. Oh, the other thing as most of you know, we had a flood at our office building at the end of May, which was just, I don't know, maybe a month and a half or so before I came on board. That displaced everybody, created tremendous challenges, which we're still dealing with. But thanks to the city, we were able to use that. You guys were able to let us use your building, which helped out tremendously. I don't think they're in there anymore. I believe they're fully into the new St. Joseph's building. We've got, I think, 2 programs in. My department will be going in within the next 2 weeks, and we're hoping within the next few months to be fully into St. Joseph's. But just the fact that you guys have helped out that much I think in previous years, I think the last one we requested was 7,000 and received 7,000, I believe. Now this year, I'm sure you guys have probably received the letter already. We're asking for a significant jump, 18,641. And the justification for that, we all know that the cost of doing business and providing everything for the local communities is astronomically higher than it used to be. What we did was we went through, since I came on board, myself and Eric, the executive director, we went through and looked at what we were receiving across the board, from all municipalities, all counties, everyone involved. There was huge discrepancies between different places. Vienna's was pretty competitive as far as what we received compared to, like, say, the city of Parkersburg. So what our board requested us to do was to go across the board. And really, that's about all I have tonight, if you have any questions.
Where did that go?
I didn't mean to get you that worked up.
Evidently, they didn't want you to ask the question. They put your mind up. They said, no more from Miss Rhodes, just go ahead and.
I had a question.
Yes,
How
ma'am.
much of your increase in cost is due to leasing the property at St. Joseph's Landing? Is that a good part of the?
Well, no, actually, the property lease is completely paid for by the commission. So it's not costing us anything. One of the, there's a lot of different things. Just an example. We took, from budget year 23 to 24, we took $127,000 cut, just from our state aid. Where Governor Justice had promised we were gonna get a jump, I think it was, of 126,000, and instead we ended up taking a cut of 127,000. And throughout the years from 20, 21, 23, the health department was forced to give pay raises just to cover the PEI costs and become somewhat competitive to keep employees. So that's a big part of the cost there.
I have a healthcare background all my life, and so I'm familiar with your programs and what you do and the services that you offer, and it's wonderful, and I appreciate what you do.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm new, so I'm not taking any credit, but I'm trying my best to help us get on track financially and make sure that we can provide the community with as much as we can.
Thank you.
You mentioned the per capita. Is that based on the number of Vienna residents that actually use the services, or is that the entire population?
That is the entire population based on the last actual census that was done in 2020.
Do you have, and I'm probably catching you off guard with this, do you have any idea of how many Vienna residents actually utilize the services?
I don't have that off the top of my head, but if you want, I can get it and get it to you.
I would like to see that personally, yeah. And maybe just a percentage, I guess, of the total population that comes in as well.
That uses the
Yeah, that uses
the
the
health
services.
department?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are there any other questions?
And I'll just throw this out there. Well, a couple things I want to throw out. First of all, nobody's mentioned it, but you have a fantastic hairdo, I have to say.
We may know the same part.
But just when I'll find email addresses and I'll send that out to you guys and try to get it to everyone. But as we're
If you send it to me, I'll make sure that all of council sees it.
I can do that. One of the goals, we've had some new leadership start recently at the health department. One of the goals is to build better relationships with the communities that we serve, as well as looking at programs that we don't offer, that maybe folks want. So if there's programs that folks are looking at that they want, that you've heard that they have somewhere else that we don't necessarily provide, or you know it's somewhere else and it works well, by all means reach out. But yeah, that's all I have.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Before we move on to the next one, I'd like to request that we take a quick 2-minute recess. Can we do that? All right. Stand